This is magic. A beautiful design with features that seem to appear out of nowhere. Dead space? Oh no, that's a trackpad. And this? Oh no, it can be more than a volume wheel. It can be whatever you want it to be. Oh yes, this is a sexy magic wheel, capable of summoning the power of 1,000 heroes, ready to arouse your every desire. Talking about things that are magic, you should check out PCBWay. You can summon an electronic product almost as if it were magic with their nifty online ordering system and their helpful staff. PCBWay is not some faceless business. There are real people making contact with you through the process. I know this because their salespeople never actually know that I am a YouTuber getting free stuff. I seem to get the service that everyone else gets. They always reach out and check if everything is correct with my order, or if there's something incorrect, they will let me know and help me sort it out. I have almost no clue what I'm doing when I order from them. So far, I have done some interesting 3D prints, including this very professional looking housing for a gaming device, and the 3D binaural head, which, if you talk to it funny, it will swear at you with an accent. But they also do custom PCBs, metal machining. Just go check out their website, pcbway.com, to see if they can help you prototype or even mass produce your next project. Thanks again to PCBWay for their ongoing support. Let's talk about the main reason to buy the VERT. There are slightly gimmicky reasons that Ayaneo are touting, like the magic stuff, magic touch and magic switch. I'd say the magic switch has a real world implication that's quite handy. But the trackpad, I must be honest, is a very niche and pretty awkward thing to use. They say it's a hidden joystick, but it's something to use in a pinch. Maybe a game that doesn't always need a joystick, but will get you through a tricky part of the game or whatever. But to say you can play through Spyro the Dragon and have a good time would be a lie. The one area and very specific use case would be if you're using an external monitor and you need a mouse. Again, it's not the best, but it can work. But really the only reason to buy such an overpriced Game Boy is the design. This thing is a work of art. The aluminium main shell has been milled out to allow for pretty precision assembly, along with an aluminium back cover and then this black plastic fan cover. While we're at the back, we can take a look at these crystal style back buttons, which are interchangeable. However, they fall off quite easily, so be careful. Around the sides is just steak. That must be a typo. Sleek engineering to the max. With the two symmetrically placed side multifunction buttons, which give you 3 mappable buttons, with the 4th being fixed to managing the trackpad. That was the hardest sentence I've ever had to say. Which is annoying because honestly, the trackpad is the least useful thing about this device. I would have loved to have just had free reign to map this to something else like the new Pico 8 app. More on that later. There are subtle elements that some may miss. The fact that the grill slots at the top and the bottom are identical to carry a sense of uniformity throughout the design. The 3.5mm jack is an appreciated addition, since Ayaneo, they don't always do 3.5mm jacks. More than often they'll do a USB-C dongle, so I appreciate the 3.5mm jack. And this device is begging to be used as a music player. More on the pros and cons of that later. On the side here, we have the magic switch, which has a satisfying tactile scrolling effect, but I did notice they set it to when you scroll, there's a first click does nothing, second click starts to do the action that it's set to, so let's say volume. So one click does nothing, one more click sets the volume up a notch. And that's just one of the many quirks of this Ayaneo device that you'll have to get used to. VERT, but the real party happens here, on the face of the device. Color options are white, black, and red, and honestly, they're all amazing colors. This white is lovely and is impossible not to compare to the iPod. The white color is under the glass, so it gives it this glossy gel look, which is just fantastic. They've followed through with this on the buttons, with the color being layered inside the translucent plastic. Now, one person commented on my post about this that I am a crazy person for even suggesting that a device with such big bezels is a good design. Well, call me crazy and call that other person stupid, because this is a good design. This is a freaking good design. And if you disagree, shut up. The screen. Another comparison that is unavoidable with the VERT is the analog pocket. And it's almost conclusive when looking at the specs they both share about each product that this is the same screen. A 10x upscale and integer scaled Game Boy screen. These screens are 3.5 inch, 1600 by 1440 LTPS. LTPS is known for being sharp, bright, and power efficient. To me, these screens feel perfect for emulation. There's just something about them, especially with the extra processing power, being able to use like the top-end shaders in RetroArch to make your games just have that extra spice that you don't get on lower-end devices. The Anbernic RG477M also has the LTPS screen with a good processor, and it's my absolute favorite for playing NES or Famicom games. It's no different here on the VERT. For those who don't care much for collecting carts and using something like the analog pockets, the VERT is quite special for emulating Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and even NES, SNES, and PC Engine at a native 8x7. And just a quick note to those who do want to put XR glasses in here, which do work by the way, and set it to 16:9, simply press the IR button, go to Settings, Device, Casting Settings, Resolution Settings, and set the screen there. This is also a great way to use the device for consuming content like Netflix. I mean, it is very much buried in the menu like that, but it was quite easy to find. And then, brightness. With all these LTPS screens, they are great for, bright environments. It's not an OLED screen, so it's not gonna get dim like you do on the OLED screens. So it's not super ideal for pitch black rooms, but you shouldn't be gaming in a pitch black room anyway. Crotch time, it's a crotch time. It's actually, I was gonna do a whole thing of how heavy it is, and my wife does complain about how heavy this is, but it is pocketable. If you have shorts like this, there's a bulge, a very big bulge, and that's always what she says to me, but it is pocketable. It's just heavy. Like if you wear your pajama shorts, they will fall down. Okay, performance. This Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 is very similarly spec'd to the popular 8 Gen 2, so it'll handle a huge chunk of retro emulation, including Switch, but I'm not going to waste too much time on analyzing this today, since it's a pretty niche crowd who are going to attach this to a set of XR glasses to emulate PC games and Switch. But if you do want to do that, it is possible. The other obvious use case is as a console. Just note that RetroArch, while amazing, is pretty fiddly with controllers, etc., when compared to something like a Switch 2. Now, I want to always just preface the fact that if you want to use something like this as a console, I remember I made a video about it a while back and people got back to me and said, this is ridiculous, it's so difficult. RetroArch is great, and it's gotten better at picking up controllers. When you switch on, it just automatically finds the controllers and all that. So that's good, but it's not going to work as well as, say, a Switch, which is just plug and play. This is not like that. There's always going to be a bit of fiddling involved. To give you an example, if my family sat down to play games and they were like, hey, we're going to use this as a console, I would have to be in the room because they would not get it going. The fan in testing was quite loud, but in real world, you're not going to have too much hassle playing Game Boy and Pika 8, but yeah, it can get quite loud, but doesn't have that annoying whiny noise that some of these newer devices suffer from. Let's quickly analyze the controls. For me, the D-pad ended up being a little bit too clicky for daily use if you're trying to be discreet. However, the tactile dome switches are very enjoyable to use. Therapeutic even. I found the D-pad to be more than adequate, and I wasn't noticing, like my brain wasn't noticing when I first picked it up, any form of input delay. Seems to work quite nicely on here. The real question here is whether the Magic Touch system is any good, and for what it is a good system. They have implemented it well. The Ayaneo Magic Touch menu found here allows you to switch the D-pad to joystick, which honestly on a device like this is always the best and easiest compromise. And then you do have the option to set the trackpad to L and R, or simply as a trackpad like you have on a laptop. I don't care much for it, and I found myself using it as a mouse here and there with Android. So if you can think of a scenario where you need a mouse on an Android handheld, then this is ideal. So gimmicky at worst and sort of anecdotally useful at best. Oh, and the triggers/bumpers. Ergonomically, they're actually quite good, but you'll most likely end up using them mapped to save and load and fast forward in RetroArch. Gaming. Now, again, this APU is capable of some pretty serious gaming, including PC emulation via Game Native and Switch emulation via Eden. But I want to spend our time here talking about an app that RetroFunTech showed on her channel, and I will link it in the description below. It's simply just Pico 8 for Android. You download this APK, you install it, use your Pico 8 app files from Lexaloffle, and have it running natively and incorporate it into ESDE menu system. So you can have this running as a menu item in Emulation Station, and it just runs as an app and opens Splore immediately. So if you are a Pico 8 fan, this is actually a bit of a game changer, and I don't know why I haven't made a separate video about it, but yeah, here it is, tucked away in this video. I spent a lot of time when using this device personally to play this bubblegum game on Pico 8. The experience was really special on a device like this. Music. This thing is iPod-y. Big, beautiful bezels, white color with silver, and even a trackpad. Spotify is alright, but this thing is just begging to be used as an MP3/FLAC file player. So I found an app by a single dev who says paying for his app will help pay his varsity bills. So by using this app, we're helping the kids. We're being selfless and basically saving the world. Anyway, it scans your folders and handles album art and info about the artist via the internet, but you're adding your own MP3 or FLAC files. Then Ayaneo had the good sense to include a 3.5mm headphone jack, so I used these CCA0 headphones, which I was busy reviewing, and it was a pretty cool experience. Obviously, the big downside here is its size and weight. It's heavier than my cassette player, but nothing a moonbag can't fix. Final arguments. Let's finish this off by circling back to why you would buy the VERT. I'm so sorry. Just go watch Retro Game Call. It's more expensive than the Chromatic, than the Analog Pocket, and much more pricey than the RP Classic, which we thought was pricey at the time. So you really gotta want this thing. The RP Classic is the cheapest here, and it's much lighter. Worse ergonomics, but the lightweight makes up for it. A bigger AMOLED screen, no video out though, which is a bummer with the Retro Pocket Classic. So the VERT can be used as a console, has more power, some cool buttons, and a luxurious design. The Analog Pocket and the Chromatic are FPGA, so they are trying to simulate original hardware with game cards. The Analog Pocket does have limited emulation capabilities, so if you prefer that sort of thing, they're cheaper, but the VERT can play pretty much every retro game ever made. And with the 128 gigs or 258 gig storage options, you can store most of them on the device itself. Effectively, you're getting a powerhouse device with a fantastic design. Shut up if you don't think it is. If you have the money and you like quirky, beautiful things, then maybe this is for you.